The whole point of video games is that they are fun. So how did Electronic Arts grow to become one of the biggest players in the gaming world and yet was voted the worst company in America?
Watch this space.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about EA's acquisition from the Saudis, and specifically Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, because of course there's no political affiliation here with that happening, right? No, of course not. $55 billion, that's what EA allowed themselves to be bought for. $20 billion in debt, aren't they, at the moment, EA, which is rather strange considering how well Battlefield 6 is doing for them right now. But I find this story that I'm going to talk about today rather a curious catty, because again, they've only put the bid there and they've won the bid. They haven't actually outright bought EA at the moment. But I want to talk about these two particular Democratic senators who have sent a letter to the State Treasury Department in the US saying, you can't let this happen because, well, it's not like China's buying the actual company of EA. No, it's the Saudis, but apparently the Saudis are a lot more toxic than China is. We'll get into this video today, folks. It won't be a long one because, honestly, I've got some speculation to provide at the end of my analysis. But if you end up enjoying this video today, folks, I'm full of the coffee today. Leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and let's get on with this because honestly, I find it's rather fascinating and fascinating too.
Prepare to meet the next great American hero.
Are you serious?
His name is
Kung Fu Hot Dog. Relive the 80s and 90s with Kung Fu Hot Dog.
So from Aaron McKinley at Screen Rant, the two US senators I mentioned, they penned a letter sparking outrage against EA's recent buyout, saying it presents national security risks. The deal made waves across the industry. Well, that's a bit of an understatement. As soon as the news broke, and it was even a possibility. And now that the company has confirmed it, it hasn't taken long to catch the government's attention, because what were the government doing? They were falling asleep, right? I have no idea what was going on. Or maybe it wasn't on their initial radar because, hey, it's another buyout in corporate America, who cares? But maybe you should care. I mean, again, remember the good old days of FIFA when it was a licensed product, right? With all the silly microtransactions back in the day. But of course, Andrew Wilson, who I'm convinced is an alien from outer space, because if you unzipped him, there's a lizard lying underneath. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So we'll take a look at the letter in a minute, but again, it's weird timing, right, that this buyout happened when Battlefield 6 is doing big gangbusters, which I find I'm just so curious about. But of course, we'll get into EA's the last few years of them not making particularly great video games. We even go back to Anthem at that point. But here's the letter here, folks. I'm just going to skim through it because, boy, it's a big one. But this paragraph here, which I want to highlight. And by the way, Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal, the latter of which served his country in the Marine Corps. So regardless of the political affiliation here, whether you've served your country as a military personnel, that deserves some credit, right? I'm not going to take that away from anybody here. But what they've stated here is that EA, who have produced things like a Madden NFL, The Sims, which of course gets accused of being something more than just a simulator, if you know what I mean. There needs to be stronger laws governing the Committee on Foreign Investment to the United States. CIFER or the committee are needed, goddammit. Get on the bat phone right away. Blumenthal and Warren, your dynamic duo, are seeking additional information about the deal and how users' personal information will be protected. The proposed transaction poses a number of significant foreign influence and national security risks, beginning with the PIF's reputation as a strategic arm of the Saudi government, leveraging long-term shifts in public opinion through the PIF's investments. Saudi Arabia is seeking to normalize its global image, expand its cultural reach. Well, we can't have that now, can we? I know exactly what they're saying there, funny enough. And gain leverage in spaces that shape how billions of people connect and interact. You're sounding more like China in his rhetoric, senators. May I address you as that, please? They continued, moreover, the PIF's decision to partner with the Trump family member, Jared Kushner.
I'm very happy to be here with Jared Kushner. It's amazing how many very important topics you're touching right now.
Not touching you. You're touching me. Not touching. Touching me.
Whose firm previously received $2 billion investments from the PIF over the objections of the PIF's own investment screening board, raises troubling questions for government approval of the transaction. Given the proposed transaction's termination fee contingencies, the three investors appear to be betting $1 billion that Mr. Kushner can deliver the Trump administration's regulatory approvals. Indeed, inconsistent or consistent with the Trump administration's unprecedented corruption and monetization of federal government power. What regulator is going to say no to the president's son-in-law? Well, unless he kicks the bucket before this deal is done, well, that might be an answer to your question. I'm not implying anything as such there. And by the way, on Yahoo News, this gets even worse. Unionized EA staffers are not happy about that proposed Saudi-backed acquisition by Lawrence Bonk. What a great surname, Lawrence. I hope that wasn't done by Depot. Hilarious. If you know what bonk means, you know I find that rather funny. EA employees involved with the Communications Workers of America Union have issued a sternly worded statement against the recently proposed private acquisition of the company by Saudi-backed investors, according to a report by Eurogamer. The complaints don't involve Saudi Arabia's long history of human rights violations, but rather that workers weren't represented in any negotiations for the $55 million deal. Look, this is, when I hear these kind of stories, and again, I'm guilty of this too, because I can't sit here and go, I'm a totally innocent person in all of this. When Microsoft were buying out Bethesda, I was excited, but I've got to say, folks, I was also naive. I mean, do I look like a business guy? Come on. I mean, maybe in another lifetime I could be Charlie Street in Wall Street. Charlie Sheen in Wall Street. Too much coffee, folks. Sniffing cocaine off a hooker's backside. I could have been that guy. And then get several STDs later on in the process, just like Charlie did. But back to the main focus of this video here, folks. Now, the senators, are they right to raise concerns? Well, they can do it. I mean, some people have actually said that this might even make the deal not go through, because if you got this objection, are the FTC going to be involved again about this? They might do, but because it's an outside body, I'm not sure if they've got leverage to do that. So maybe they will, maybe they won't, I don't know. But again, the FTC should really have won that case about Microsoft buying up Bethesda, because look what happened in the end. Job losses, more shit content coming out, Xbox on the way out. They can't reclaim those 360 days, where we probably think now that ahead of PlayStation 3, they might have just won that battle of the consoles. Just, it's your pick or mine, right?
Oh my god, wait!
But this letter is a curious oddity to me, because yeah, you're bringing it to the attention of a Republican government who might just look at it and go, yeah, we don't want this. This is absolute dog shit. We don't care. We want this to go through. But I think there'll be more objectors, more outliers coming to the forefront in spite of this letter, right? So who knows? Now, I'm playing devil's advocate here when I say this, folks, but if this deal does actually go through, do you know what's on my wish list? Do you know what my number one thing is? Well, I've got number two things actually. Titanfall 3 single player. Will we get that? Will we actually get Bad Company 3? Because Oh my god, you had 2 great games and then we don't get a third one to complete the trilogy. That's what I want. Now, will the Saudis actually listen to fans' requests? I say no, they won't, because they don't have a clue how to actually get the best game developers out there. Now, if you want to reverse course this, and you probably might not be able to, EA, get rid of your current staff that is made up of activists. Get rid of Andrew Wilson. Send Andrew Wilson to Disney. Apparently he wants to run the show there. Let him go there. Bring somebody in who's not Andrew Wilson. Somebody, if you unzip them, there isn't a V lizard underneath waiting to snare you like Robert Englund did in that classic TV series back in the day. Get someone like that, maybe me. Hey, I've got nothing better to do these days. And then employ a team of people who are biologically men and women, nothing in between, and instruct them to make great video games again. How about that? That's your plan B. But if that falls through, well, then we'll have to wait and see what the Saudis do, because I doubt very much they're going to listen to influencers or people in the YouTube space about what they would like to see. I would love for a Titanfall 3 to actually arrive. Will it? I don't know. Remember those great advertising campaigns from back in the day of Titanfall 2 especially? Oh my god. Titanfall 1, yeah, it was alright, but because it was mainly an online component where you could play as a single person, but it wasn't the same, I did not like that at all. But honestly, Titanfall 2 2016, oh my god, it's a shame they released that in the wrong slot of the year up against a Call of Duty game, right? It was such a terrible mistake on that part. But anyway, folks, I had to make this video today because it's just really interesting, and I want to see where this goes. My prediction, I think the deal might fall through actually. There's going to be too many things that suddenly get uncovered, and I think they might just back out, and then EA might have to look for a buyer from within the USA instead. But security risks, well, I don't know. That's just is it an overreach? Maybe. But then again, you know, people want to see great games again. And by the way, before I actually start off the video, if you believe the rumors that BioWare might be closing before the end of the year because of this deal, well, that also remains to be seen. But if I were you, and if you were me, you should definitely return, folks, for the next video.